Hey guys, it's Justin from Local Car Scene. This video is really intended for people that are interested in learning how local car scene started, where Temecula Tuesdays came from, and kind of the timeline of in between of how everything started to just come together for us and all of our shows. So kind of how we got initially started was back in late 2012. It was just a couple of friends and I just hanging out. That was really it, but it was every single night. It wasn't strictly just Tuesday nights. It was every night, and I would go actually before I went to work. And you know, we had people like Dominic and Chris and Brian and Sean and Pops, and started to get to be like 50 to 60 of us, probably early 2013. And this again is all before Temecula Tuesdays even kind of took shape. The Temecula Tuesdays name initially started when we moved the location to in front of or in the middle of Kohl's and Famous Footwear. You guys would know that as the Vail HQ now, but it was a blank piece of land back in 2013. Really nobody was using that parking lot for anything because it hadn't been renovated yet. And at that point, Michael Cross and Alec Weens hopped on board at this point, and were really helping me out. And really, it was a team effort really to just keep the event going. And Alec Weens actually designed the Temecula Tuesdays logo to what it is known as today. That really kind of formulated the name. You know, Temecula Tuesdays is a Tuesday night from like 6 to 10. Bring whatever you drive and come hang out. And that was what we did for a long time. At the time when we were in between Kohl's and Famous Footwear, it was every single week, and Michael Cross and I actually lived pretty close. We would use his Ford Lightning to actually bring down the trash cans we would use and to make sure everything was picked up after. And that was kind of when Facebook started and Instagram started, and we actually started to take photos and kind of get after it. And it was every single week, so it started to become so large that we couldn't justify doing it every single week because we wanted the event to, you know, go on for years to come. And so we thought, wow, every single week this is going to be a lot. So we cut it to every other week, and then I believe eventually it went to about once a month. But when we left the Kohl's and Famous Footwear parking lot, I believe we went to the Petco parking lot off Winchester. We jumped around to a couple other warehouse businesses back in 2014, 2013 time. It was a pretty interesting time to try and find but places to actually do the event and do the cars and have all this stuff. And what you guys see today with the music and the Hot Wheels and all the merchandise, like none of that was existent. It was literally just park what you got and that was it. As we were moving around to all these spots, we got to meet a lot of different people as we were growing and stuff like that. And I eventually met a guy by the name, I believe Barry, and he did coupon work for businesses in town. He thought that we could do car shows for businesses that, you know, maybe needed a little boost or get their name out there, and in return it would provide us like a safe place to go, and you know, for me to get some compensation to hopefully, you know, maybe release a shirt or two or stickers and license plate frames, which we all eventually did, and that really helped out with that. And so we partnered up with like this one pita place. We partnered with this one Chinese restaurant. It was going okay, you know, the lighting wasn't that good, but we eventually got ourselves with Pizza Factory. And that's what Temecula Tuesdays, a lot of you guys remember it as, was the days that, you know, Pizza Factory were the best days. And this was, you know, early 2015 all the way ran till early 2016. We had a good year run between the Temecula and French Valley Pizza Factory. And I remember, you know, we had, you know, a helicopter come out. You know, it's just crazy. We had our 3-year anniversary at the Temecula one, and you know, that was the last one we did there. I mean, we extended all the way to the Stater Brothers. I mean, it was insane. And I wish I could almost go back to those nights. You know, that was started when we even had a DJ out there play music. We had the tent. We were starting to sell some stickers and stuff like that and kind of let people rock what they were doing. And in 2015, kind of gave birth to Local Car Scene at that point. We wanted to do more events than just strictly on Tuesday nights. There was other people around at the time helping out and being there, and eventually, they started to go their own separate career paths and move or take up other hobbies and stuff they interested as the shows grew and how much was going on. And I stayed with it and kept doing the shows and being passionate about it and kind of doing whatever it could to kind of keep the events going and not letting them die out just because we got kicked out of Pizza Factory. And then there was a couple months where we didn't even do anything at all because we had nothing. We had nowhere to look. We actually had been offered to do a car show at the Temecula Valley Family Fair. And so we hosted a car show there. We got to be outside of the concert stage, which was pretty cool. But we had a guy by the name of Kevin who worked at Pole Position actually come by our booth and say he was interested in doing, a Temecula Tuesdays over at the Pole Position track in both locations, Murrieta and Corona. Obviously the challenge is local car scene presents Temecula Tuesdays and the events don't take place in Temecula. But we took what we could and we did those events for at least another year. Just about once a month or every other week, I think we skipped between Murrieta and Corona just so we could kind of keep the events going and gauge interest and also gain new interest by doing the events in Corona. And that opened a lot of doors for us and to get out there and get a lot of new cars. And they kind of got to be a little bit out of control, people not being respectful. I'm taking all this time to do this event, drive up to Corona early, leaving work, getting back at like approximately midnight because we're doing these events till 10 and I'm packing up and going home. And it just kind of made for a long day and it just kind of got exhausting really, and we just stopped. One of the things I really wanted to bring to local car scene events was create that consistency, like create where I already know where I'm going. There's no need for me to jump from spot to spot. Local Car Fest is in Corona at iBox Springs. Gosh Cars and Coffees at Gosh Ford Temecula. Temecula Tuesdays has now found a home there that's consistent that I don't have to worry about getting in trouble for. It just kind of creates this welcoming feeling that, I'm gonna be safe here. I'm gonna be okay to bring my car here and not get bothered. I think Temecula Tuesdays means like everything to me. I think it's how I've gotten the jobs I have now. I think it's how I've formed relationships with all of you or relationships with, people that I hold dear. I think it's really been the startup of everything either in my life or generating these shows for you guys to enjoy. It's really been a pleasure. It's been fun. I plan to keep on doing it. It just, I don't know, it means everything to me. I'm so passionate about it. I love being able to provide like a safe place for everybody, and it's opened up a lot of doors. And where I see local car scene being in 5 to 10 years is I hope Local Car Fest takes off. I can do 2 or 3 of those events a year, whether that's in just California or venture out to a couple other states, and still try and do Temecula Tuesdays at Gosh Ford Temecula. If well-being, I'd love for that to still exist in the setup it is. And I hope within the next 5-10 years I can continue that and continue to rent out venues and do Local Car Fest and make it bigger and better as obviously as I can, and that's kind of where I want it to be.